The first joint session of the 2015 Montana YMCA Youth in Government program, please come to order. Members and guests, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the chaplain please give the invocation?
I have a quote today from Sophia Warren. There is a fountain of youth. It is your mind, your talent, the creativity you bring in your life and the lives of people you love. When you learn to tap this source, you will truly have defeated age.
Madam Secretary.
Sergeant at Arms Rosa.
Madam Secretary, the Montana Youth Governor, Lieutenant Governor, President of the Senate, and Speaker of the House await entrance to the joint session.
Will the House Sergeant at Arms please escort these officers to the podium?
Madam Secretary.
Sergeant at Arms Fisk.
Madam Secretary, the Chief Justice and Associate Justice of the Montana Supreme Court await entrance to the joint session.
Will the Senate Sergeant at Arms please escort these officers to the front of the chambers?
Madam Secretary.
Sergeant at Arms Rosa.
Madam Secretary, the Honorable Justice Jim Shea awaits entrance to the joint session.
Will the House Sergeant at Arms and the Escort Committee please escort the Honorable Justice Jim Shea to the podium? It is my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Justice Jim Shea, who will now administer the official oath of office to the elected officials of the 2015 YMCA Youth in Government program.
Could I have the youth governor please stand? Would you please repeat after me? I, Shannon Temple, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will support. Do we have a replacement? That I will support, protect, and defend
That I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Youth Governor
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Youth Governor
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Justice, please stand. Governor, would you raise your right hand, please? Solemnly swear
I, Blake S. Griffin, solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Chief Justice
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Chief Justice
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and that I will discharge the duties of the office of Lieutenant Governor
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Lieutenant Governor
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Would the Speaker of the House please rise? And repeat after me. I, Samantha Johnston, do solemnly swear
I, Samantha Johnston, do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and that I will faithfully discharge the office of Speaker of the House
I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Speaker of the House
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Would the President of the Senate please stand and raise your right hand? Repeat after me. I, Governor Clark, do solemnly swear
I, Governor Clark, do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of President of the Senate
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of President of the Senate
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. And the Secretary of State please stand and raise your right hand. Please repeat after me. I, Victoria Blakely Padilla, do solemnly swear
I, Victoria Blakely Padilla, do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Secretary of State
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Secretary of State
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Justice Shea, for being with us this morning to administer the oaths of office. We are honored to have you there. Justice Shea will now administer the official oath of office to the Associate Justices of the Model Supreme Court. Will the Justices please step forward?
Would you all raise your right hand, please? Please repeat after me. I state your name. I, Dave Johnson, solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
That I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
the Constitution of the State of Montana,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Model Supreme Court Justice
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Model Supreme Court Justice
with fidelity and to the best of my ability.
with fidelity and to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Justice Shea, for being with us this morning to administer the oaths of office. We are honored to have you take part in our session. Will the House Sergeant at Arms please escort the Honorable Justice Chambers? Youth Chief Justice Blake Casagrande will now administer the official oath of office to the members of the 2015 Youth Legislature, House, Senate, Ingalls, and Hathaway House. Members and appointed officers, please rise.
Please repeat after me and raise your right hand. I state your name.
It's everybody.
Do solemnly swear
Heather Sienna.
that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, Constitution of the State of Montana, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Youth Chief Justice Blake Casagrande will now administer the official code of conduct oath to all participants in the 2015 Montana YMCA Youth Government Program. Everyone, please rise.
Please repeat after me and raise your right hand. I state your name. As a participant in the Montana YMCA Youth and Government Program, promise to uphold the Youth and Government Code of Conduct and demonstrate the positive values of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Congratulations.
Sergeant Owens Fez. Will the Senate, Sergeant Owens, and Escort Committee please escort Governor Bullock to the podium?
It is with great pleasure that I present to you today our guest speaker, the second most handsome governor in this building, Mr. Steve Bullock.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me this morning. I want to welcome you to as you kick off the 2015 YMCA Youth and Government Program. Over the next few, how many of you is this your first time? That's great. Over the next couple of days, you really are going to get a hands-on understanding of how government works. You'll not only see it from the battles and the discussions that happen on these legislative floors, you'll see it from the courts, but you also see sort of the backside of it from advocacy and lobbying and what the press can do. And I think that while you'll gain sort of that immense knowledge of drafting legislation, navigating its passage, trying to get it past the governor's pen, from my perspective, and this goes back a couple of years, I learned things while I was in the Youth and Government Program that really brought what I learned in school and classes to life. I mean, you can read about how a bill gets through and signed, but it's a little bit different than actually making those efforts to try to get it done, as you will over the next few days here in Helen. I hope, though, that maybe one of the most important things that you'll learn throughout this isn't something that you get pick up in a high school textbook. It's not something that necessarily will ever be measured on a test, but it really is something that you'll need throughout the rest of your life. And that's finding those areas, working with others to find common ground. You're going to have intense debates about issues that you feel real passionately about. But you'll learn that if you can do it in a way, in a civil manner, in a respectful manner of those that you might be opposing, that you're actually going to be more likely to come together and find a solution, to find the common ground. And that's what it often takes to get legislation passed. Frankly, you'd hope that logic always wins the day when you're in front of a court, but the way that it's presented as well can make a big difference. Been governor for 2.5 years now. Shortly after being sworn in as governor, I asked Montana lawmakers to conduct themselves as if their children or our children were watching, because they often are. Pleased to say that from my perspective, since then, the tenor of government has dramatically improved, with the majority of lawmakers coming to our state in Helena for 90 days every 2 years, really with that willingness to sort of put aside some of the personal passions and at times partisanship politics aside in order to find some of that common ground. Seeking out agreement instead of just discord. It's something that does take constant effort, and we're not always successful. But here in Montana, we are making, I think, real progress in ensuring elected officials work in the best interests of their constituents rather than in just the best interests of their political parties. And when you see the dysfunction that can occur at the national level, Montana, we're still not there, and we still really are about friends and neighbors working together. As you begin this experience, I want to echo that same call. I ask that you try to find and engage one another with respect in intense debates. I ask that you actually look to those common values that we share as Montanans for seeking out the things that might divide us. I ask that you behave and work in a manner as if our legislators, our state elected legislators, are watching, because often they will be, and there are things that you can teach each of them as well. I do know, as I said, the valuable skills that you'll gain. I had the opportunity years ago. I think I started out as a lawyer and arguing cases in front of the court. Ultimately, I wasn't near as handsome as this man, but was governor of youth and government a handful of years ago as well. It's now 30 years ago. Speaking of which, I did have the chance to review the position statement from your governor. First of all, Shannon, I want to congratulate you on getting elected to this role. Also applaud you for prioritizing tough but really important issues, from issues such as education, infrastructure development, economic growth. These are many of the same issues that I face on a daily basis, and when the legislature was in town for the last 90 days, they faced as well. Recognize that there's not always easy answers to accomplish those sort of things and addressing it, but rest assured that hard work will get us across the finish line 95% of the time. It'll all be watching to see how you handle these issues, especially infrastructure, which our legislature didn't quite get it done in the 90 days or the 87 days that they were here this time. Also want to applaud legislators in the room. Haven't had a chance to look at all the bills, but as I see many of the issues that you're working on, that you're tackling, it's not unlike many of the things that we've been working on here prior to your arrival. Michaela Marsh has, of the Southwest Montana YMCA delegation, proposed a bill to provide assistance for returning veterans to further their education, area that we've worked on for the last 2 legislative sessions. Sam Edelman of Bozeman, introducing legislation prohibiting discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity, an area where many of our city governments have taken the lead, whereas our state legislature has fallen behind. Ben Adams of the St. Ignatius delegation brought forward a bill to ensure that our public lands stay in public hands. Another area that has been part of intense debate even during this last legislative session. And Derek Herman of Miles City brought forward a bill to prohibit employers from requiring Montanans to turn over passwords for social media accounts. Be happy to know, Derek, that I recently signed a bill just like yours into law. Actually, all of you would be happy to know, because now you'll live in a time where most of your history will be recorded through social media. So at least in Montana, employers can't ask for those passwords. Dozens of bills that you'll be considering over the upcoming days, regardless of where you stand on these bills, regardless of whether you're a member of the Super Dance Party, for the Montana Imperialist Party, y'all deserve credit for thinking long and hard about the challenges that you see in your communities and thoughtful ways to address them. Because that's also, from my perspective, whenever we have bill signing ceremonies, we actually have a few of them this morning, kind of at the tail end. I always ask the legislators, well, where did this bill come from? And kind of the most interesting and exciting from my perspective are when they say, well, you know, a local constituent brought it to me. The local constituent had something that they were frustrated about or excited about, so they made the request, and we brought it into law. I'm excited that many of your bills are much the same. I hope that in the next few days, when you sign, you die, know that ultimately, not only do you build some good friendships, it's interesting that 30 years past, I still do bump into people that I met in the Youth in Government program. But I hope in addition to building those friendships that sort of your passion for doing some of this work doesn't end when you sign, you die. Because I think we're really lucky in Montana from the perspective in a number of different ways. First of all, our state constitution really does require open participation in government. That means that the legislative hearings at city council, at county commissions, wherever it is, most of the deliberations of government are out in public. But more than that, you have the opportunity to actually provide input in each of those areas. And there really is no magic age for getting in government at any level. I know that when I ran in 2012, and I know that my opponent as well, we had high school students involved in our campaign. We had folks actually working, be it going door to door, and that adds a significant piece to the campaigns. And it's also one of those that I guess my biggest frustrations in life. I mean, I could point out in the real legislature, Bryce Bennett. Bryce Bennett is in his third term. He's a significant part of leadership. He just hit 30. I can look at Sarah Lasloffy, a representative from Billings, who got elected in her early 20s. We've had folks who basically get elected to the legislature right after they're old enough to vote. It's something that you all should consider as well. And when you look at who's impacted greatest by what happens in this building, it's your age. Notwithstanding the fact that ages 18 to about 30 vote less than any other demographic in our state. So I guess I would encourage you to take what you learn here, apply it in any number of different ways, one of which is during the legislative sessions, reach out to your legislators, make your voice heard. We know that on some of the difficult issues of the day, having constituents say, here's what I ask you to do, makes a difference. During campaigns, in the run-up to elections, ask of your local representatives or your state potential representatives what their stances are. Engage in these efforts in whatever way that you're comfortable with. Consider helping out on a campaign, local or statewide. Consider actually running for office. From my perspective, we really need your talent, your thoughts, your innovation, your excitement for the future. So thanks again for being here for these important days. I have no doubt that you'll take more out of it than what you gave if you enter into it excited and with an open mind. Special thanks to the staff and all the volunteers that helped make this happen. Look forward to seeing you around the Capitol over the next few days. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Governor Bullock, for being with us this morning. We are honored to have you take part in our session. Will the Sergeant at Arms please escort Mr. Bullock out of the chambers? All please rise to it.
Members, please be seated. We will now hear the State of the State address by Youth Governor Shannon Temple.
Hi, I'm Shannon Temple. I once read somewhere that when starting a speech, you should always start with a shocking piece of information to draw your audience's attention. Well, did you know that investment clubs that title their common stock investments towards small growth stocks turned over 65% of their portfolios every year? That's it. So next time your friends try to convince you to invest alone in a company that traps exotic, bewildering creatures against their will to entertain the general public, you better be careful. No, not SeaWorld, I'm talking about Walmart. It gets much worse, trust me. Hello, my name is Shannon Temple, and welcome to the 44th Annual YMCA Youth in Government Conference. I hope it goes without saying that I'm humbled to be standing in front of you all today as Montana's 2015 Youth Governor. First and foremost, I would like to thank all of our advisors and directors for helping prepare for these next few days. You've all gone above and beyond what is expected, and the result is making all of this possible. Also, a shout out to the Gardner Committee chairs for driving 2 hours to a meeting on the wrong day. It's okay, they still actually tell times by moons down there, so it's very easy to get confused. My time with this program, the YMCA Youth in Government that is, has been the best experience of my young life. This program, which is the largest of its kind, extends to 37 states and the District of Columbia, and includes many other branches which you may have heard of, such as the YMCA Model United Nations and YMCA Conference on National Affairs. You all, of course, only came for the dance, but now you know some stuff too. But in all seriousness, what makes this program so special? And why is this program backed by so many states with tens of thousands of youth participating every single year? And why do our advisors and directors put in the extra time and effort to allow this program to succeed? I will answer that question, but first I would like to talk about the very condition of our state. To quote urban philosopher Tauhid Epps, more commonly referred to by the public as 2 Chainz. Money's the motivation, money's the conversation. Our state is currently doing what no other state, or even the federal government can for that matter. We have been consistently balancing the budget. Not to mention, we have been balancing the budget consistently for 16 years. A state has accomplished. Unlike the federal government and 49 other states, we are consistently doing this over and over again, which, when you think about it, shouldn't have to be an accomplishment. One day, my brother and I, who was in 2nd grade, went shopping for a basketball, and he had $15 to spend, and he found a ball, took it off the shelf, and instantly put it back. And I asked him, well, what's wrong with that basketball? And he told me, well, it's $18 and I can't use money I don't have.
I'm trying to stream it.
Apparently, he needs to get down to Washington, D.C. ASAP because 535 congressmen can't figure that out. Furthermore, in regards to our state, our unemployment is much lower. Our renewable energy usage is higher, and Montana scores about 1.5 points higher on the ACT. A test our state pays for our students to take. But here's what our future must hold. We must continue to be fiscally responsible by balancing the budget in order to separate ourselves from the Washington machine. We must focus on improving our infrastructure. We must push for and most importantly, we must continue to invest in our future. Because it goes without saying that we need to invest in our schools, in our kids, because there's no value in education. And we can all agree on that. Whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Super Dance Party, a communist, all agree that education is very important, and we cannot continue to progress as a state if we don't invest in the people who will be the future progressors themselves. A lot has changed since our statehood in 1889. 2 world wars, the interstate, the combined harvester thrasher, but a lot has stayed the same too. I still have a girl's name, and Dr. Laura Lee Davenport still doesn't look a day over 20. But Montana will always have one thing, and that's its amazing, down-to-earth people that you will find nowhere else. And the thing is, you'll never hear about anything that does great on national news. Montana does great things, and Alice Catherine Evans aren't remembered. But their contributions were exponential. And when the national news is talking about a man with a girl's name and remembering his legacy, even though he's kind of funny and not very important, they'll be saying, "Rest in peace, Tracy Morgan." This conference will leave behind a legacy unsung but important, just as our state has left a legacy unsung but important. At the beginning of the speech, I posed a question: what makes this program so special? From this very building, approximately 500 miles away, lies a place where, for 12 years, adults and teens alike have gathered by thousands to waste away Labor Day weekend celebrating one of the things that makes our nation the greatest on earth: camp out music festivals. I'm specifically talking about the Sasquatch Music Festival. Sadly, there are no cryptid apes roaming the 3-day-long music festival, but for those of you who don't know, Sasquatch Music Festival is basically Woodstock minus the tie-dye and heroin. At this point, you may be asking yourself, what does a music festival and politics have to do with each other? Well, absolutely nothing aside from the fact that the music festival is held in the town of George, Washington. However, there is a video on YouTube that depicts a movement happening from start to finish in about 3 minutes. At the start, there is a lone, shirtless man dancing in a field. A lone nut, per se. This man looks ridiculous. But a leader must have the courage to stand alone and look ridiculous. About 30 seconds into the video, another man joins him, and he is what I call the first follower. The leader embraces him as an equal, and they continue dancing, still looking ridiculous. But the first follower plays a crucial role, even more important than the lone nut. He shows other people how to follow. Being the first follower is a brave role to undertake, an unappreciated role, as you also stand out and may look ridiculous. The first follower, however, transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that actually ignites the fire. 1 minute into the video, a third follower joins. Now 3 men are dancing, and this is a turning point. 3 is a crowd, and a crowd is news. Shortly after, 2 more people join. Then 3 more, now 7 more after that. Now it's no longer risky to be a follower. The new followers won't stand out, and they won't look ridiculous. Hell, they might even look ridiculous if they don't dance. More people continue to join. Soon, a giant dance party is formed, and there is no turning back. Although the dance party in the video can't be compared to the dance party we'll be hosting Tuesday night, there's something to be learned from the movement that ensued. We are always told that we have to be the leaders, but that would be ineffective. A movement is nothing without followers. The way you show you really care is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you see a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in. This year, don't be afraid to stand with the lone nut. Don't be the one to agree with a person on an issue, but be too afraid to speak on it. You might be surprised at how many people agree with you as well. As kids, we feel like we don't matter in politics. And the thing is, we actually don't matter in politics. We don't have the money to afford lobbyists. We don't have the capabilities to appear on national television and have our opinions heard. The only thing we have is our voices. And sadly, in this day and age, a teenager's voice doesn't matter. Adults will belittle our opinions because they're supposedly wiser than us. As if we won't be affected by the decisions they make today. As if we are the ones who have been corrupted by power and the Washington machine. And as if we are the ones who have been brainwashed for hours on end by Fox, CNN, and MSNBC. Sadly, as teenagers, our voices don't matter. Earlier, when I asked what makes this program so special, here's the clear-cut answer. It's not learning about government or the 3 days off from school. It's not learning how to write a bill or the super serious messages transported by our pages. For the next 3 days, your opinions will matter, and that makes this program so special. Every single one of you will have your voices heard. On the first page of your bill book, there's a quote that states, "Democracy must be learned by each generation." This quote has been the basis for YMCA Youth in Government since its establishment in 1936. The best part about this quote, however, is that there is no specification on who will teach us democracy. At this conference, we'll be taught democracy by each other, but the only way we can learn democracy is to participate in democracy. Make your own unsung legacy. Be the lone nut. Be the first follower. Be the crazy dancing man at Sasquatch. Make your own unsung legacy. Because here, one time, every year, every single one of your opinions matter. And there's no value on that. And lastly, hi, I'm Shannon Temple. Thank you. And one more thing before I go. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Governor. We'll now hear the state of judiciary address by Youth Chief
Can you get
Justice
to the
Blake Casagranma.
Facebook page for Youth Pledge?
Oh, okay, is it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a YouTube channel too, or is it just?
Yeah.
I'd just like to say, Shannon, that was a really good
I can
speech.
get the kids to like
Very
it on
informative.
Facebook, but I can get probably that from you.
I just switched to doing YouTube instead of Ustream, and so I'm not having quite figured
I'd
out.
like to start with a quote by my good friend Keegan Oliver Whalen. It goes something like this.
I'll send you the address.
Welcome to the Montana State Capitol. Welcome to Youth in Government. Welcome to the future of our state. Unfortunately, we're a generation looked down upon by those around us, by those older than us, by those that don't attend this conference. The pessimistic attitude that surrounds our future of leadership is sometimes daunting, and it hurts. It really does. However, I must ask you all, have you ever traveled outside our state and conversed with other people? Have you ever noticed the undivided attention you may receive when you speak, simply because you're from this state? That's something only this state receives. It's not often that people meet someone from Montana. So when you say, yeah, I'm from Montana, and their eyes light up and they go, oh, that's so cool, can you start telling me about this? They usually get a good impression. They usually think, wow, this is a state that has kids and people that are of higher intelligence, of higher morals, and of higher dedication to what they do. Aside from the usual jokes of how we might live differently, such as riding our horses to school, or living without electricity, the overall attitude towards us as a group, towards this group in this room, is enthusiastic. Many people have never met us from Montana, but when they do, they're often impressed. They're impressed by our friendliness. They're impressed by our state, by the programs we have to offer, such as this one. Both our legislature and judicial branches are of top class within the nation throughout these programs. Our state governor was a governor here. That just shows that out of what we do here really translates through the real world. And that leads me back to the preconceived notion of our generation. The pessimistic, these kids don't know what they're going to do. They will not lead us well. The view that we will break the nation coming.
I think I made a mess out of it.
A while ago, I was scrolling through Instagram on my phone, and I came across a short clip from a soccer game in Scotland. The stadium was completely packed. Fans of all ages with scarves and hats were all sitting behind a goal watching, and it was dead silent.
Is it just T-Duff and that?
There was a young boy, probably 9 or 10,
MT.
sitting in front of the goal with a ball at his feet, and a goalie and an open net in front of him.
Yeah.
10 yards away, waiting to kick. And the stadium is still dead quiet, and everyone's waiting for something to happen. And at this point, we can look as we are the young boy, and our peers and our critics and the older generation are all those in the stadium waiting breathlessly to see what we do. Either we succeed or we fail. The young man runs up and kicks it, and needless to say, it goes in. And the crowd erupts into one of the loudest roars ever heard at a soccer game. But the fear of missing, or in our case, the fear of failing, was just an illusion before. Nobody remembers that, oh, this is going to be the generation that will ruin us, or that will not carry our nation in the future. That was just a dream. Now, it's this generation has succeeded. They're turning what our is. It's a turning around, and our state.
MTU, thank God.
Just think of that in this week, that everyone is watching, and they're waiting for us to do something, succeed or fail. And I hope we as a group choose the first of those two options. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Justice Cascarada. Will the Sergeant at Arms please escort our elected officials from the chambers? Members, please rise. There are a few announcements. First of all, the cafeteria is still open to anyone. You guys can also come. The cafeteria is open to anyone who wants to get food, and we have a couple of birthdays today. So if we could all sing happy birthday to Haley Jackshaw and I believe Frank Dwyer. Is that good? Is anyone else? All right, ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Frank. Happy birthday to you. Okay, all of the events on your sheet start at 9 a.m. So you have like 10 minutes to get to where you need to be. And please just be able to run on time. And the joint session of the 2015 Montana YMCA is now adjourned.
Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Yeah, I'll send another. Did I send that one yet? I don't think I don't know.
I don't know if I've signed up
Oh, okay.
yet this morning.
What I'll do is I'll sort out those links. This was recorded too, so
Okay.
I think it was.
That was cool.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's my bed.
That was cool. These guys are pretty The governor say your name on the floor.
Oh, it's so awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
So I'll send those links to you guys.
Stop streaming. Okay.